Theater at the Rio Hotel in Las Vegas, here's our host, Allison Hannigan!
Welcome to Penn Teller Fool Us. I'm so excited about the amazing magicians we have in tonight's show, and you should be too. There's only two people who shouldn't be excited about the great talent we have, and that's possibly the soon-to-be-fooled Penn and Teller! Don't forget, we give a performance slot in Penn and Teller's Las Vegas Magic Show and a Fool Us trophy to any magician who successfully fools Penn and Teller. So here's tonight's first potential fooler.
My name is Hans Petter Sekker, and I'm a fortune teller from Norway. I learned fortune telling from my mother, who taught me that card magic is mechanical, but fortune telling is magical. I'm not a full-time magician because I get a stage fright. I actually work as an accountant. I'm also a national champion poker player. There's a lot of similarities between magic and card cheating. They both require a very skilled hand. I don't cheat while I play. I work as a good guy. I help people not to get cheated. The odds of fooling Penn and Teller, that is very small. So my mother taught me that if you're going to do magic, it has to be perfect. So for fooling Penn and Teller, I have to be perfect.
Magician from Norway, Hans Petter Sekker.
My name is Hans, and I'm a fortune teller. Being a fortune teller doesn't mean I can predict the future. It just means that I look for certain signs that I use to tell your fortune. These signs I can find in the palm of your hand, in the stars, or in these tarot cards. Allison, will you please join me on stage so I can read your fortune? Penn Teller, will you join me too? I'm going to give you 3 predictions. I'm going to predict your past, Allison, your present, and your future.
Oh, good.
Let me show you how. I'm going to put cards down on the table, and what I'll do, I want you to look at your past, and we're going to try to find a card that speaks to you. We're going to put your picture there, and Allison, I want you to push that picture into the deck.
Okay.
Teller, I'm going to put cards down on the table, and let's try to find a card that speaks to you. You can stop me at any time. It's a free choice. Already? You want to change your mind? No. Let's put your picture there. Please push your picture into the deck. Pen. And I want you to imagine your future. Let's use your consciousness side. You can stop me at any time. It's a free choice.
I want my future to be long.
Yeah, imagine dreams, imagine good times.
That one.
That one. Do you want to change your mind?
No, I don't.
No one change your mind, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna put your picture there. Please push your picture into the deck. You've all pushed your picture into 3 different positions in the deck. We're gonna remove your picture and the card next to it. Allison, Teller, and Penn. Allison, will you please turn over the card that connects to your past? The Emperor, often mistaken as a symbol of power, it represents accomplishment. And the fortune tells me that you have accomplished more so far in your life than most people will accomplish in a lifetime. Teller, will you please turn over the card that predicts your present? Magician. Now that might seem obvious, but the magician in tarot has nothing to do with magic. It's a symbol of skill. As a magician like you has spent a lifetime mastering his trade. Penn, would you please turn over the card that predicts your future? Stars. Often mistaken as a symbol of fame and fortune. It's the most beautiful card in all of tarot.
Damn straight.
Yep, as it symbolizes hope. You hoping that you will figure out my magic, and me hoping that you won't. Penn Teller, as magicians, you guys are famous in this city. But the history of magic hasn't always been that bright. In Europe, where I come from, magicians, fortune tellers, and witches, they were persecuted for centuries, and they used to burn us alive. So we had to hide our messages in secret codes and numbers. And that's what I've done today. And behind me is a picture that's been up there since we started. Hidden in plain sight for everyone to see, but no one to notice. The secret message becomes visible if you spin it upside down. The numbers turn into letters, letters turn into words, and words turn into your fortune. And the prediction says, Allison, the Emperor, Teller, the Magician, and finally Penn, the stars. But what if you made some other choices? What will your life look like? Well, there are no other choices. All the other cards are blank. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's Sucker! What do you think they're looking for?
Well, hopefully the wrong things.
Does it make you a little... Oh, there we go.
We'll be over here if you need us.
Okay. I did hear that you know how to cheat at poker, though.
So I teach people how to avoid being cheated, teach players how to protect themselves, what to look for.
Oh, good. What makes a good poker face? I would be a terrible poker player.
It would be a stone cold
Because I
face.
go, oh! Is that good?
That is not a good poker
No?
face.
But what if I didn't have anything? No?
Yeah, that could be a good tactic, yeah.
Is there a lot of magic in Norway?
There's not a lot of anything in Norway because we're a small country.
All right, so let's find out what they've decided. Penn, Teller.
When we first decided to do this show, we thought it was going to be easy and fun. It's not. This was not easy, nor was it fun. Your trick was fun, then the fun ended. Fun went away and left us here alone. We grabbed your cards, we looked at them, we came back here, we tried to figure it out, because we were, at first, totally fooled. Because this with 2 cards is easy, but you had that third one in there. And then as we talked about it, we realized that no one can predict the future, but some people can control the future just a little bit, like you did with us. And we think that there was a difference, a very subtle difference, tiny, infinitesimal, not noticed by hardly anyone except Teller, difference between the procedure of how each one was done. But on that fact, bringing it from 2 to 3, we think we've got it. You might have even stolen those cards from Leonard Green and then added a third one in there to the Gemini twins, if you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so based on what Penn just said, all the twins and stuff, did you fool them?
I don't think I fooled them. I think they figured it out.
Wicked good.
Well, it was incredible. Thank you so much. Hans Petter Sucker! Look up in the sky. It's Penn. It's Teller. No, it's a commercial break. Stay tuned for more Fool Us. Fool Us. Penn and Teller don't look now. Or actually do look now at this next potential fooler.
I'm just an average guy and nobody, but I always wanted to be an artist. So I tried to play piano. I was bad. I tried juggling. I was very bad. I wanted to quit. Then one day I discovered the most humble prop in magic, the lowly sponge. It was love at first sight. I was bad at other kinds of magic, so I invented my own techniques to be good at the sponge. When I performed for other magicians, they never seen my techniques before. They were amazed. I didn't know my magic was amazing. So now I'm a little famous, a spongeologist, the magician who wrote the book on sponge magic, literally. All because of my little friend and me.
Please welcome the sleight of hand of Julio.
It's a Tibetan bowl. With them, and a simple vibration, in a lot of cultures, they think that the energy can flow and even materialize. I would like to play with the sound and with the silence. Yeah, it's happened. With a little bit of silence, one of the balls disappear. While I'm talking, nothing happens. But when I shut up, yes, it goes away. And the last one, the last one, because sometimes the silence can speak for itself. And when silence speaks, the sound answers. Okay, I would like to play a little bit different, with 1, 2, and the last one. Okay, but the ball need to be upside down like before. And the last one. Before, I use a little silence to make one ball disappear. But now, if I do a longer silence, it disappears more. Just a sound, and it comes. Knowing this, I don't need to move the balls. I just need to do a sound, and they came. The first one, a sound, and the second, and the last one, like the previous ones. Just a sound, and there is 1, 2, and the last ball. Okay, please, Alison, can you help me? Yes. Please put your hand palm up like this, and take these 2 balls really tight in your hand.
Okay.
Put your hand like this. Okay, a simple silence to make it disappear. If I carry the sound, it's done. You got 3. Open your hand, and there is 1, 2, and the 3. Nice.
That's so cool.
I can do a lot of things with the vibrations, because if I put one ball in my pocket, and I take the essence of the ball, like this, with a sound, I always got 3. And I can repeat it 1,000 times. 2 on my hand. The third. it's no need to put on my pocket. You can take in your hand, palm up like that. Because, and the previous one that I put on my pocket, you can take in your hand too. Because the important is not the place where I put the balls. The important is that I take the essence. I put on the ball, I tap, and I always got 3. And I can repeat it 1,000 times. This is for you, of course. Use 2 hands because it's easy. And I always got 3. I can repeat it 1,000 times. This is for you, and I always got 3. But I can do this faster. I can do this a lot of times. For example, this is for you. I just tap, and I always got, don't drop the ball, please. This is for you, and I always got 3. 1, 2. This doesn't mind, and I always got 3. 1, 2, this. But don't drop the ball, Alison, please, don't drop the balls. Sometimes happen that if I tap 1, because if I tap just 1, I appear 1. But if it's continuously sounding, I always got 3. 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 The one way to finish this, I always got 3. I always got 3. The one way to finish this is I always got 3. Is give you the 3 balls. It gives you the stick, it stops the sound, and it gives you, and thank you so much, because it's one way to finish this. It's not possible to do.
I lost your balls.
I know. I lost my balls too.
Does your beard, like, have magic powers?
Yes, yes, I think so. With my beard, I can produce sponsors or something. Yes.
Any more in your hair?
No, maybe in yours, but mine no.
Hey! Why was that one green?
I don't know. It's another. That's green.
All right, it's time to check in with Penn and Teller.
Oh, I'm afraid.
Penn, Teller.
You know, we don't like sponge balls. I mean, I guess we liked them when we were 6, 7. You know, when you're a child, you start with sponge balls, what you start with. Yes. And when you see someone come out with sponge balls, it automatically means beginner, means hack magician. At least it always has, till you. The sponge ball stuff, we first saw sponge balls and we got complacent. We said, this is stuff we've been doing since we were children. And then it got to be things we hadn't done since we were children. And then it got to be stuff that no one had done ever. And then it got to be stuff that was impossible. Then it got to be stuff that, well, I hate to say this, but you're the Shimlin of sponge balls, and you fooled us.
Really, thank you so much.
Beautiful. Just amazing.
Thank you.
We're just squeezing in our first fooler, but I think we might have room for one more. Penn and Teller take on more magicians when we return. Welcome back. Another magician is knocking on the Fool Us door. Let's let them in.
I'm Zoe LaFleur. I'm 12 years old. I work hard in school. I work hard in my sports. I work hard at home. Last year, I saw my uncle, Adam Chire. He performed on Penn Teller Fool Us. My uncle was definitely a mentor or a coach to me. He introduced the trick to me. He showed me how to do it, how to perfect it. My family has watched me practice for 2 months, and yet they still don't know how I do the trick. I am aware that I would be the youngest person to fool Penn Teller, but just because other magicians are older than me doesn't mean they're better than me. I can make magic just as well as they can. Penn Teller, don't judge me how I look, because once you watch me do my trick, you'll be in for a big surprise.
Great things come in adorable packages. Here is 12-year-old magician Zoe LaFleur.
Hi, Penn. Hi, Teller. I'm a huge fan of yours. But I always feel so badly for you when you can't figure out the tricks. But don't worry, I'm here to teach you how not to get fooled by magicians. Would you come join me on stage, please?
Hello, Zoe.
Now, Penn Teller. Before a magician starts, you should demand to see the cards. Look at them, make sure they're all different and in no special order.
Those are all different and in no special order.
All right, we are ready to start. Now, Penn. Often, a magician might say, pick a card, any card. But don't do it. Magicians can secretly force you a card that they want you to choose. So, the only safe way to do it is if the cards are out of the magician's hands and out of their control. Now, when I turn around, Penn, I just want you to take any card you want out of the deck. Look at it, remember it, and don't let me see it.
Okay. Not gonna make it easy
And
just
Teller.
because she's young.
I want this to be totally random, so can you just take a small clump of cards just from somewhere in the middle of the deck, hide them under the table so I can't see them, count them to yourself, and remember that number. All right, is everyone done?
We're done.
Perfect. Now, Penn.
Okay.
Next, a magician might say, put the card back in the deck. But don't do it, because magicians can use a sneaky pinky trick to hold the spot of your card. So the only safe way to do it is if, again, the cards are out of the magician's hands and out of their control. Now, I'm gonna start dealing cards onto the table, and whenever you want, just say stop.
Okay. Stop.
Right here?
Right there.
All right, go ahead and put your card in.
I will.
No fingers, your card is truly lost in the deck. But who knows? Maybe I was counting. So, you can give the cards a couple of cuts.
Good idea.
Now, Teller, you still have your cards, right? Perfect. So, when I look away, can you just take some of your cards, put them on the top of the deck, some of your cards, and put them on the bottom, all right? All right. You have any more cards? All right, we have now exhausted all methods a magician could use to cheat. So, Teller, can you show me what is the number you're thinking of? 10. All right. It's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is the 10th card.
Yes, it is.
Penn, can you tell me what is your card?
The 5 of Hearts.
The 5 of Hearts. The 5 of Hearts.
So you're 12 years old?
Yes, I am.
And how long have you been doing magic?
Well, I actually just started last year when I really got into it. My uncle, Adam Chire, performed here in front of Penn Teller, and I was in the audience just right over there, and I watched him, and I was like, I think I could do that.
So your uncle inspired you, and I'm sure you're inspiring so many people right now. Is that something you were hoping to do?
Yes, it definitely is one of the goals, aside from fooling Penn and Teller. I definitely want to inspire younger magicians. Even though they haven't seen a lot on the show, doesn't mean they can't do it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, it's time to go to Penn and Teller and see if they figured it out.
Okay.
Penn, Teller.
Boy, was that great, Zoe. Just so good. So good. Teller started doing magic when he was 5. I started later than you did. But when Teller was 12, he was not using sophisticated methods like this. The method you're using, we think, is not a method that's out of magic. It's a method that's out of gambling. It's really serious, no kidding card stuff you're doing here that's really, really difficult and done beautifully. Your premise, your patter of I'm going to teach you guys how not to get fooled is beautiful, perfect. Now we got to get to the key moment, you know, the key moment where we talk about sometimes in code. And I used to have hair as long as yours. My hair used to be as long as yours. Mine is naturally curly. But if mine weren't naturally curly, you probably know more about hair than I do. I'd have to use a crimper on it, is that right? To get it to be nice and curly in the back, or is there a curling brush or something like that I could use? But you know a lot about hair. Your hair looks beautiful. But is anything I've said to you, given you some idea of maybe we were following your sneaky self up there? Sneaky.
Did you learn code in the last year or two?
I think so.
So did they figure it out?
I think they definitely figured it out, but just wait till next year. I'm gonna get you guys.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. More magic heading your way. Don't go anywhere. Ready for more magic? Good, because here comes this guy.
What's different about my magic is that it's storytelling. For example, I always grew up with stuffed pandas. I brought my stuffed panda into the act because I needed something to share with my audience that shows my innocence the way that I used to be. I was bullied a lot in high school.
And the red one is the bully, so we really don't much care what his name is, so.
There were 2 to 3 years where I truly felt completely and entirely alone. So my magic shows the brokenness that I've gone through to encourage people to get over their own brokenness. I wanted a genuine connection with real people. Now, if you like my magic, you like me.
Put your hands together for illusionist Josh Farley.
Growing up, I was your average homeschooled kid. I'd spend my evenings drinking Earl Grey tea and solving crossword puzzles with my stuffed panda. You may wonder how I fit this into my thriving social schedule. Somehow I found the time. Shockingly, not much has changed in the last 15 years, but I did find a way to take my quirky eccentricities, kinks, and thousands of hours worth of free time, aka the things that used to get my ass kicked, and put them into an act that got me on this stage tonight. So take that, you ass kickers. I'm now a magician, and my panda is now my DJ. Just go with it. And along with our lovely assistant, Brooke, we've developed a magical crossword puzzle for you. Now, unlike other illusionists, I'm going to tell you exactly how this trick works, and you still won't believe me. It's a pretty tight fit. You comfortable, Brooke? Great. Some say that words can't hurt you, but this now grown-up, homeschooled reject begs to differ. So tonight, every time Penn and Teller solve a crossword clue, I'm going to push one of these wooden word blocks into our puzzle. So Penn, what's a 6-letter word for annoyed to the point of distraction?
Teller.
Teller? Exactly. Great job. And Teller, I'm looking for a 4-letter word for verbose. Penn! Precisely. And finally, both Penn and Teller, a 5-letter word for your favorite place on Earth.
Vegas.
Vegas.
Beautiful.
Right again. Incredible. Now, at this point, you're probably all wondering just how Brooke has managed to contort her body to avoid so many deadly words. But I promised you that I would divulge our secret. You see, while you were distracted by all these obscure words, Brooke actually snuck out the back of the box. She's hiding behind it right now. Take a look. Psych! And I mean, psych. A 5-letter word for whatever our speaker just said was done purely to mess with our listeners' minds. And indeed, I am messing with your mind. Brooke never left the puzzle. You would have noticed that. The answer lies in a 4-letter word, meaning present and at hand. Here. She's here. To be more specific, she's actually right here. You see, Brooke has trained her body to fit within this tiny center post. And now you don't believe me. Show him, Brooke. As Sherlock Holmes once said, whenever you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. So the next time that you're feeling rejected, just remember that it's not always about fitting in. Sometimes it's just about being here. A 4-letter word, meaning present and in the moment. Right, Brooke?
Josh Farley, everyone! Very impressive.
Thank you so much.
So the story of the trick is actually a true story?
It is a true story. I was homeschooled. Both of my parents are here tonight. My parents actually drove the prop here. My dad built the illusion.
It's beautiful. So this is a one-of-a-kind trick.
This is a one-of-a-kind illusion. No one else has built or performed this before. And we built it specifically for Penn Teller, this stage tonight. So
what inspired this trick?
I like to tell my story through magic. And so we selected this to share a little bit about my insecurities as well as getting over those insecurities and hopefully to inspire people to realize that it's okay to feel different. It's okay to feel like you may not fit in because those are the things that make you who you are.
So cool. Well, let's see if Penn and Teller have puzzled out your trick.
Sounds good.
Penn, Teller.
Oh, Josh, you know, you have a certain kind of ethereal confidence that's very, very nice. I love the pacing the most of this whole thing. It's just gentle and kind and honest. And speaking of honest, you really were telling the truth. No one else believed you. We did. Wonderful to see this blade box type setup, but not using, you know, the stuff they stick through, blades or swords, whatever they do in that kind of stuff, is never really dangerous. You just have to pretend it's dangerous. So using the words, then using the crossword image for looking inside there is really wonderful. Also, people at home might think that any sort of trick like this is done with mirrors. It's not. If it was done with mirrors with some sort of turn, there'd be some sort of glitchy reflections, which you didn't have there. You solved that really nicely. And being homeschooled, I know that a lot of people I know who are homeschooled, which I'm all in favor of, by the way, have a real love of literature. I don't know if you ever read Ibsen's The Dollhouse, but you probably read a lot of stuff like that. A lot of stuff like The Dollhouse and other classics like that. We've loved every bit of the routine, loved your innovations, and do not think that you fooled us. What do you think, Josh?
So, no, you did not fool me. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. This is a dream come true.
I think you said that backwards, but you didn't fool us, is what you meant.
Correct.
So he didn't fool them, but it was wonderful to watch. Thank you so much.
Great job, Josh. So great, man. So great.
Penn and Teller, you have until the end of these commercials to get out of your chairs and get up here and perform. Move it, boys, move it. Chop, chop. So great is they each have their own distinct approach to magic. Here with the trick that exposes a little bit of their yin and yang is Penn and Teller.
Teller is from Center City, Philadelphia. He's from a big city. I'm in a little town in western Massachusetts called Greenfield, and I never met anybody in show business. Never met one person. Saw movies and TV, but never met anybody in person. So I thought that all the arts, all of show business, was just practice. You know, I knew that music was practice, and I knew that drawing was practice, and I knew that, you know, acting was practice. So I wanted to learn something. I decided to practice and learn juggling, because juggling was the purest art form. It was nothing but practice. And I practiced all the time in Greenfield, Massachusetts. And then, toward the end of high school, I met Teller. And Teller was also in the arts, but Teller was a magician. And Teller did not practice at all. So we're gonna do two tricks. I'm gonna do a juggling trick, and Teller is gonna do a magic trick. And we're gonna do it with the exact same props, because some people think the difference between juggling and magic is the props, but it's not. It's philosophical. Juggling is hard work, magic is lying. I think somebody from the audience here who knows the names of cards and knows how to count. How about you in the yellow? Right up here, please. And do watch your step as you come up here. Have you stand right behind this table here. And what is your name, our newest friend?
Alex.
Hello, Alex. Nice to meet you. My name is Penn. I'm a juggler. That's Teller. He's a cheater. Now we're gonna do the trick with these cards. I have a specific brand I use. I use Tally-Ho because I learned the trick with this deck. And it's very important I use this brand because this can be different with every brand. But cards are very well made, especially these. They're made so that they are identical. There's a great deal of conformity in these cards. They're identical one to the other. And that means if you practice a lot, I mean all the time, you can learn the weight of the cards. As a matter of fact, you can learn the weight of any amount of cards. But I want you to cut, Alex, and cut deep into the deck and put the top half on my hand right there, anywhere you want in the deck. Cut right there. I did the next card, don't let me see it, but cover it up, put it somewhere. Put it somewhere that I can't see it, neither the front or the back. Now I'm holding these, Alex, now watch me. I'm not counting, I'm not looking at the edges, I'm not counting my fingers, but I can tell you just by weight that you cut to 35 cards. Now, Alex, you did not cut to a specific place there. I didn't tell you where to cut. You cut at random. Yeah. That's 35 cards right there. Count those face up right on to that table. Would you please count them face up and aloud? Nice and clear.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Do not applaud. Do not applaud. Remember the skill involved in that. The trick that I did was very, very difficult, so it took a lot of practice. Now, Teller is going to do a trick that is impossible and therefore requires no practice. Now, you took one card out of there, right?
Yes.
Now, the cards are all different, as you can see. I didn't tell you where to cut. You took the one card out of the middle of that deck. You have it right there. Pull it out, but cover it up, front and back. Cover it up, front and back. Now, watch this, Alex. Take a little peek at it. So do you know what it is? Good. Take a little peek at it. Watch this. No skill required. You buy that trick. The blowing's doing nothing. He is accomplishing nothing. There's no trick being done here. It's a self-working trick. But Alex, he has one card right there. One card, he can't switch it. Alex, loudly and clearly say the name of the card and then show that card to the audience. What's the name of the card you picked?
5 of hearts.
5 of hearts? 5 of hearts. Do not applaud. Do not applaud. Now we want to see. You're going to applaud for me first, think back on it. Now, when you applaud for me, remember, you're not just applauding for my hard work or for Alex's counting. You're also applauding for the work ethic that all of us share. All of us, except Teller. So let's hear by sound of applause, the juggling trick, the hard work. How many of you like that? And now, how many of you want to reward lying, cheating, and swindling? Applaud for Teller. And that, Allison, is why I moved from juggling to magic. Thank you so much.
To all the jugglers and wizards around the world, thank you for watching Fool Us. Good night.